Hey, Kenneth? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
How's your day going?
Oh, not too bad. How about yourself?
Good.
Cell phone charger's back there if you need one.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Just getting off work?
Recording an album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You play an instrument?
Pretty much everything.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So these are studios over here?
Yeah, it's all recording studios. It's like a big warehouse filled with them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like rehearsal spaces, recording studios, and people much pretty just like rent out these sound rooms, you know,
Sure.
set up in there.
Very cool.
My friend James has a studio in there, so he's producing and everything for me,
Okay.
which is really cool.
Nice. So you're recording specifically an album, like what type of music?
It's like indie rock stuff.
Okay.
I can show you a snippet of a song.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. It's really cool. I'm really excited. Today was funny. We kind of like, so we're supposed to finish we have a deadline for this month, and I just got word from my managers about a week ago that they want me to record the whole album in his studio.
Okay.
And have him help me write and everything.
Oh, wow.
Just because it's better, you know, we're like a power team.
That's awesome.
And
yeah.
we made 2 songs already,
Mhm.
and then that's when we got the budget and the news to do the full-length record
Very cool.
by the end of this month. So we got 8 more songs,
That's-
7 now. But today I had this file that I found, and I was like, oh my god, this is a finished track. It just needs, some perfection
Mhm.
and lyrics. So we spent all day writing the lyrics and rearranging the track. Completely made a new track that wasn't
Wow.
even supposed to be on the album, and I have this instrumental intro that goes into the other 9 songs.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking scrap the intro and just have 10 songs of full songs,
Oh, wow.
just
yeah,
to
for
complete
sure.
it, really complete it. Because I think the intro is kind of a cheat just to add more songs,
Sure.
I could even make an outro and have 12, but I'd rather not.
I get you.
Yeah, so yeah, it was really nuts today. We finally finished that, and I'm very surprised that we did that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Very
Yeah, when you can get into a groove, I mean, that's such. I'm a musician. I was in my younger days. I was in a couple of bands in California, and so I enjoy that process. And it's you find people that you can gen with, you can actually make a groove with, and actually play with, and
Right.
create something. And it's a wonderful, amazing feeling, man.
Yeah, it's really
Absolutely. Yeah.
Here's one song that we did recently.
All right.
Phone speakers, but
Okay. Yeah. Is this you on vocals?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah, so that's one of them.
That's great. Yeah, it's super catchy, really poppy, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't really do a lot of pop stuff. We did this
Okay.
one that sounds cool.
Uh-huh.
Played this portion.
Dude, that's great, man. Yeah,
Thanks.
I love that because it's like, it's very poppy, it's very catchy music.
Yeah.
And it sounds almost like, which I think is really trendy, like the 80s throwback, but in a totally new way.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my like biggest inspiration is like
Nice.
new wave.
Yeah.
And these songs originally were like straight up like synth pop,
Okay.
new wave, super 80s. And so once we took it into the studio, James is kind of like a pop guy, you know? So we're kind of finding this cool middle ground of like the 80s stuff, you know? Like, especially, I want to like get more post-punk with it.
Okay.
Like, I want like XTC, Tears for Fears type.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
Just dope shit.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think his pop elements are like what my managers are really liking because it's essentially, it's trendy.
Yeah.
And I don't think me, James, or even my managers have really heard music that's combining that 80s inspired stuff in this pop formula
Absolutely.
that we just kind of discovered.
Oh, that's great.
So it's
Yeah.
like, it feels cool to make music that I personally haven't heard before. So
Exactly, yeah.
there's so many influences dialed in, it just makes it original.
Nice.
Like, so I'm super stoked.
Yeah. So have you done any like touring and taking any of your work so far like on the road or?
No, I hope so. After this album, I was only releasing like singles and like a few EPs, and like Billboard said this cool thing that they wrote about one song.
Oh wow.
They said, where is it? They said a slightly sinister breed of new wave similar to what acts like Ultravox and the Human League made early in their careers before shifting towards mainstream pop.
Wow.
A dark little gem from his Pleasure to Be Here EP over an instant bass line and moniker beat.
That's
So
awesome.
it's like kind of combining that. I guess they were kind of predicting it correct to be more pop.
Yeah.
In a sense, so that's kind of cool to me.
That's awesome. So how long have you been working and doing this, creating music, like professionally in this space?
Yeah, so in this space, not even a month now, I don't think. Maybe a
Wow.
month in total. We've been rocking out these songs like nothing, and I made the album itself within like a couple months as well. Like, I've been making music since I was like 10, you know, on
Sure.
like DAWs, like digital workstations, and figured out how to produce really well by myself. And so I have like a little home studio that I thought it was good enough to get by, but you know, yeah, it's like, this stuff's cool.
Sure. Yeah. Once you add a good professional level of studio recording.
Right. And it's inspired me. Like, I'm gonna do like Berkeley courses, like,
Oh, cool.
just to do like art of mixing,
Yeah.
just to like make it a little better on my end.
Mhm.
Like, I don't want to always go to a studio, you know,
Sure.
or like have to think like, oh, okay, my managers have to find, you know, like 10 grand to fund an album. Like,
Right.
like if we can cut out all of that, it could be much better. And
For sure.
I could even produce for other people and my friends that,
Right.
you know, could use it just as James is doing for me. So
Right.
I've been like kind of studying his songwriting as well,
Nice.
and like kind of his songwriting especially, because I'm not the greatest writer,
Okay.
but I do know how to make a killer track. So it's like I'm kind of learning his writing process, and it is pop formula totally.
Sure.
He's in a band called like Friday Pilots Club.
Okay.
They tour like big time.
Nice.
I haven't done it. I've done small shows like here and there, just like underground shows, and
Sure.
those are sick. Like,
Yeah.
I played some of the early demos of the album, and people were singing the lyrics that they never even heard before, you know?
That's great.
Just
Yeah.
so surreal.
I could see that. Yeah, it's like I said, the stuff that you showed me, it's really catchy. Like, it sounds familiar. You're almost like, oh yeah, like I've heard something like this. Like
Yeah.
sounds like I've heard it before.
My
but, yeah, it's
friend,
totally good.
I showed him one of the songs, and he was like, I've heard this song a million times, but it's completely fresh to me.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Dope, dude.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really awesome, man. Very cool.
I hope it does well.
Sure.
I've garnished a large audience just online the last... I mean, I've had this project since I was 19. I'm 22 now.
Okay.
I mean, an album in high school that I ended up filtering like 2 songs from and releasing under the official moniker Teen Blush.
Teen Blush. That's what I was going to ask, if you had a name you were going by.
Yeah, Teen Blush.
So that's your band name or your
Yeah.
album? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's gonna be the album name too.
Sure.
Self-titled.
Makes sense. The first one makes sense.
I got like interviewed for blogs and stuff like 2 years ago, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing an album.
Sure.
And I was never working on an album, like ever.
Right.
I wasn't even thinking about it. I dreamed of it,
Sure.
but like, there's like people on the internet that are like, oh my god,
Yeah.
you're actually doing it now.
There you go. Wow, that's awesome.
Now I can just say that I've been working on this thing for 2 years trying to figure out what I'm doing.
Right.
So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like it's going for you in a great direction. So that's really cool. What's something you'd like to do with the music? Like, what's something you're hoping to experience or get out of this?
Well, I would love to be having like my songs in like Netflix films, like Netflix originals or like
Sure.
shows or something.
Yeah.
I got an offer for like a UK like drama for using the song Car Crash, which I don't know where the fuck they would fit that in. It's like the Kardashians of Europe, you know?
Oh, interesting.
And I'm just like, where are you gonna fit this song, man?
Sure.
But they got it. So
Wow.
we'll see in like a year or so if they ever use it. But
Oh, that's cool. So they did buy it. You're like, here, you can have the rights to put this in a
Yeah.
show or whatever, and you'll see what they do with it. That's
Yeah.
cool. I love that. And that's amazing to find something so obscure, right? To be like, oh, like I love when I'm like watching a show and I get a new band out of it.
Right.
And I'm just like, how did you find these guys? They've got like 3,000 followers on YouTube.
I
Like,
know,
how
right?
did this happen?
I see that and I'm just like, I want that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how big I am. I just want people to like find me through like their favorite movies.
Yeah.
Like I would love to tour in the future, like especially Europe, because they eat up music so
Oh, yeah.
different than we do.
Yeah.
And like their culture is very diehard. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping for my first tour to just do like the UK.
Sure.
Like
Sure.
Paris, France, everything.
Yeah.
Just like come back to the States and go back to my barista job. You know. But the listeners are there. Like a couple months ago, I was at like 500,000 monthly listeners on like Spotify.
Oh, wow.
I ended up releasing a house song that I thought was cool. That
Uh-huh.
It did really well, but the algorithm in which Spotify specifically curates music for people,
Mm-hmm.
they want the same sounding content 10 times over, you know? They
Sure.
don't want you to venture out or change your sound. So when I
Right.
made a house song at my peak of 500K, over a couple months it just plummeted.
Oh, no.
And people weren't finding my music through
Oh, no.
the algorithm. So it like I got a good core of like fans, you know,
Sure.
that liked that stuff. But man, that really bit me in the ass.
That's unfortunate. And that's unfortunately how it is with music, too. A lot of people expect an artist to not evolve. They're like, I liked this album and this album, but this new thing I don't like that much.
Right.
Because they expect you as an artist to not change, to not evolve, to not create new. They want
Yeah.
what they get from you.
Totally.
But it's I think that's just part of the process to be able to reinvent, to recreate, to change the tune. You know?
I have one song that garnished about 10 million streams within
Wow.
the last year
Uh-huh.
and a half or so, and
Uh-huh.
that's about the time I signed with my managers, and they were like, you can make 10 Felt Like Homes and you will be as big as you can imagine traveling the world.
Sure.
And I'm like, that's dope and all, but I want to do this sound, like the deep voice, the
Yeah.
the 80s inspired stuff. And we tried it, and they were like, oh, holy shit, there's something here, Ken. I'm like, thanks, guy. I'm
Nice,
like,
yeah.
I'm telling you, this is the next wave of like what we're gonna listen to.
For sure. Yeah.
You just gotta listen to me. And they're although managers get a bad rap, these guys they listen to me and they trust,
That's
my
good.
direction.
Yeah,
So,
that's good, because you're right, it doesn't always go that way, right? It's the suits are trying to figure out what to do with art, but it's like
Right.
you're not going to understand it just
Right.
by the nature of who you are usually.
Yeah, and
But,
I've
yeah.
been watching like how people maneuver and what they're listening to, and it's like fucking TikTok blew up Kate Bush,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's all coming full circle. at ease.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah. It's doing that. It's doing a loop. It's ready
yeah,
to
like,
do that loop.
Right now, especially, the biggest time for music, I think, is like
Uh-huh.
grunge. Like,
Oh, yeah.
grunge has made a comeback really hard, and just rock music in general.
Yep.
And I think what's next is just that cycle, like
Yeah.
90s, 80s, like
Oh, yeah.
like we're gonna.
Well, because boy bands and new wave were the big thing, or like the what is it, glam rock?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Glam rock is kind of what we're headed towards.
Yeah, I think so. I totally think you're right.
Just gotta have someone to make it.
Exactly, right? And to put a new spin on it. And I think it needs to happen, just because if you look at what we had technologically to be able to make music in the 80s, I think artists from that time, from the new wave era, probably look at what we can do now and go, oh man, I wish I could have that kind of looping.
Right,
I wish I
totally.
would have that reverberance. I wish I could have had the technology to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and now you can. Now you can create something in that same space, but new and in a new way, which is really cool.
That's great with James, because he's like, I've been wanting to work on this kind of music for so long, but no one's ever come around with it. And
Wow.
I'm like, well, dude, like, here it is.
There
Like,
you are.
We're
Yeah.
gonna do it. Like,
No, that's
pop.
That's awesome, man. That's
I'm so
very
stoked.
cool. Yeah, I bet.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I love this music stuff. It's like my whole life.
That's awesome, and that's the way to be, to create it that way, to live it. You gotta live it at least while you can. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope to leave a legacy. I want to be whoever's next, their favorite artist. I want to be your favorite artist's favorite artist.
Right? Oh, that's so cool. I love that. Yeah, like that legacy. That's exactly it. You want to inspire the people that are creating something in 20 years because you've created that. Yeah, because there's people that are like that. There's people that are like, look at Usher, right? Everything he did, but he was inspired by Michael Jackson, and it's like you can create that and move forward. All right, man. Here you are. It was so nice chatting and great music, dude. Looking forward to it. So Teen Blush, I'm gonna keep an ear out for it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We'll I'll be around.
Right on.
Cheers. Drive safe.
Thanks. Have a good one.